How does the Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. connection look days away from when the team kicks off the 2025 regular season? Well, you'll hear from K1 and MHJ, Johnny.
Plus, Brian Baldinger joins the show to talk year 3 expectations. Is it win or bust for Jonathan Gannon, Monty Ossenford? Plus, it's the return of Hold or Fold the Line. PHNX Cardinals on a Wednesday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Hello, friends. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Kindly like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I, of course, am Johnny Venerable. He's Brack. Noah Man behind the mic. The return of one Damon Dog later in the program. But first, we got to say what's up to everybody in the chat. Brack, how we living?
We're living well. And of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Of course, never ordinary. Download the Bet365 app today and use the code PHNX365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. As Johnny said, after taking his L in our debate yesterday, a fun hello to everyone just days away from the season opener. What's going on, Mr. Fat Gangster? I like that. We're expanding from Jobo to Jobo No. And then we got Snacks. We got Shaft. He held and put on a great diehard fantasy football draft, which Johnny just decided to no-show as far as his draft goes. It stinks. Ryan Walker, Han shot first. I see Sam went digital. Sports Hero, Alec, the entire squad. Dana, ball knower. We're excited to talk some ball. One of the most ball-knowingest ball knowers of all time, Brian Baldinger, is going to join us as well.
Baldy's breakdowns, you absolutely love to see it. Baldy this week, Kurt Warner, ever heard of him? Next week, we are absolutely locked in and loaded for the start of the 2025 regular season, which we're going to be en route to. We leave on Friday, show tomorrow, travel day Friday, and then we'll be in robust, sunny, beautiful New Orleans for a Saturday show, and then a full day of coverage on Sunday. So again, you don't want to miss anything. Why would you? This is #1 for a reason. Like and subscribe. Again, hit that bell for notifications. I was notified today by Kyler Murray that things are going really well with Marvin Harrison Jr. Bo. So I guess season's taken care of. We're all done here. Nothing to see.
All your bitching and whining about the offense, you can finally just put that to bed and just say, hey, problem solved. K1 and Marvin Harrison Jr. It's what kind of we expected, a year 2 jump. Potentially, yeah, we'll see. But, I mean, they're saying all the right things. We'll get into that conversation. You'll hear from both of those Cardinals playmakers as they're just, right there, knocking on the door of the Big Easy. Going to take on the Saints in week 1. Also, maybe do the Saints have a little bit of an advantage against the Cardinals? Jonathan Gannon might have revealed one of them. We're going to get into all of that today, but, nothing gets bigger than, we had the debate. We had kind of the back and forth yesterday about Petsing and this offense, and that's the biggest question, right, going into this season, Johnny. But, of course, the biggest 2 pieces of that puzzle, it's Marv, it's K1, it's what can they look like in year 2 playing together.
It's going to dictate the success of this season. This season, you can't convince me this team can run their way to a division title. Not in 2025. You can't convince me the defense and a stout run game is going to get you over a McVay, Shanahan, McDonald division. It just won't, right? Now, those things can't be complements to a robust passing game. Of course they can. But they can't be the essence of this team unless you're trotting out the Aaron Donalds of the world, or you've got prime Trent Williams, and you're the best. Like the Niners, when they were going to NFC Championship games with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's like they had the best run game and they had the best defensive front. Like I liked the Cardinals' defensive front. I think it's way better, right? But it was horrific last year. It couldn't get pressure without blitzing. It didn't have quality defensive tackles in terms of like NFL caliber. So now we're finally meeting them at eye level with those positions. Now it's time for the offense to take care of business. And we talked about it ad nauseum. They opted to not make any significant additions to this offense. They said, we are going back with what we have, figure it the F out, guys. And I love the comments from Kyler Murray today because that's all I want to hear. I want that from Drew Petzing, but he's not going to say that, as you outlined yesterday. There's a lot of coach speak. Kyler Murray's coming out here. And listen, if I'm Kyler Murray, you got nothing to lose this year. You're playing free. You're leaving it all on the table. We're not thinking about future contracts. We're not thinking about legacy. We're not thinking about your next team potentially. It's like, if you live into the now, as he put it, just thinking about Wednesday, and you take care of business every single day, good things are going to happen. And I do think that that's what's en route for the franchise quarterback.
Right. And like, I remember our old colleague, Craig Morgan, he talked to Bruce Arians, the most successful Arizona Cardinals coach of all time, statistically. And I think, that's not even up for debate as far as the run he had, leading the team to 3 consecutive double-digit win seasons and NFC Championship playoff appearance. And, Craig asked him, this was at year 2 of Jonathan Gannon, like, when can you tell players are bought in to the coaching staff and to a head coach? And it's like when they start kind of reiterating, when they start echoing the comments of their coach. And you saw a lot of that today from Kyler Murray with Jonathan Gannon. Like Jonathan Gannon, especially like nudging up to week 1, everybody wants to hear big picture statements from JG. And he's like, all I'm worried about is today. All Kyler Murray is all he's worried about is week 1 coming out of there with a win. And I think Kyler Murray, a lot of people will kind of turn their nose up, scoff at the idea that he continues to develop, mature, but I saw even more mature Kyler Murray in the press conference today. I thought his answers were polished. They were to the point, and he's a man on a mission. I think he absolutely is. This is a guy, Johnny, that came up in the social media era of playing football, of being a professional athlete, of being a collegiate athlete on the highest stage, being a Heisman Trophy winner, being a 2-sport star, and you get kind of lost in all the noise, right? All this, what's successful, what isn't successful. And as we see a Kyler Murray going into year 7, the most important thing, I think, for Kyler Murray is focusing on doing his job this upcoming practice, this game, and what's going to finally stack upon itself into what Kevin Murray, his father, told us post softball game last May was he ultimately wants to kiss the trophy to make this community proud of him and him being a part of it.
There are people who are going to have their minds made up with Kyler Murray, regardless of how he plays this year. And that's a sad reality. And then I think there are people who are on the opposite side who are maybe overly positive. And I think sometimes we get labeled like that. Although I think we've got good context of what he is, what he isn't, what this franchise has had in the past, and specifically what they haven't had. And so we're able to look at it through a different lens. But I think Kyler Murray, this is the most likable he's ever been, in my opinion. I think his comments at the podium, the way his teammates respect him, the way you hear high-level guys like Paris and Michael Wilson talk about him, I think he's become, for at least me, I've always rooted for him. He's the easiest to root for that he's ever been, because I know what it's like. Anybody who's been in a professional work environment where it's you have poor leadership, there's turnover, you have to ingratiate yourself to new people, you're talented, you don't think you're being used correctly. Maybe, in your 20s, you make decisions then that you wouldn't make now. And it's we ask so much of these young men, 20, 21, 22 years old. And then you fast forward and it's I think Kyler Murray, this is the year where at the end of the day, he can look back and say, this is my team, this is my franchise, and they've embraced me wholeheartedly. This is, if it's ever going to happen, it's going to be this year. And who can't be romantic about that? Openly calling him derogatory names because of his race or his height. It's disgusting. It's disappointing. Let the football speak for itself, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you've been following this team, you've seen a lot of bad football and specifically quarterback play. And so until they get a better solution, which was always my argument in the offseason, why be hesitant to embrace this guy? It's beyond me.
Yeah, and regurgitating, recycling, play it out. old or, false narratives about the quarterback. I mean, there's certainly criticisms. It's obviously the most important position in all of sports, and it's under a microscope, and you can nitpick it all you want. But at the end of the day, you find good quarterback play that you want to see elevated because the skill set. And I think you're seeing, the work ethic, you're seeing the competitiveness and the leadership qualities kind of get to another level. So
yes.
Let's hear from Kyler Murray. Let's hear from Marvin Harrison Jr. Johnny, let's do that on the other side as we continue our conversation. Plus, Brian Baldinger is coming up at the top of the hour here on PHNX Cardinals.
We also have the latest injury report with one notable addition for the New Orleans Saints. That's coming up. Make an addition to your outdoor living space. We have almost made it to the end of sweaty season here in Arizona. But don't let that stop you from, dabbling with our friends at AllPro Shades Concepts. Check them out right now, allproshadesconcepts.com. Schedule a free estimate, hundreds of designs, colors to choose from. Again, they can work with your HOA. They work with mine. They're fantastic. Motorized, retract with a remote control. They can replace most outdated, or they can do a custom awning. They can match what you have, or they can just do a gut job because, again, they're the most trusted local shade company here, voted #1 by Arizona for patio shades in 2024, triple B A+ rating with over 1,000 5-star reviews. And they started out, just making window shades for friends by hand in Phoenix. And then people like what they did. And now they are #1. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call 623-204-1476. As I mentioned, visit AllPro Shades Concepts right now. Get a free estimate today.
No doubt about it. Kyler Murray talking about championships. We're no stranger to championships here in the Valley. You see them all the time. Like Final Fours come through here. Super Bowls are hosted here and won and lost. And you've got so many of those on display here in the Valley of the Sun. And you got one coming up this fall. And it's going to be the last one for a while. How about Phoenix Raceway? Get in right now. Championship weekend. Don't miss out on that opportunity to witness it in person. It's coming to the Phoenix Raceway October 31st. That's right. Halloween through November 2nd. Go trick-or-treat down at the track. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series. That's the treat. Championship race sell out every year. So get your tickets right now. They move fast. Get yours before they're gone. And here's the kicker. NASCAR's taking that championship on the road starting in 2026. Shame on them, but go take advantage of it being here while it is this fall. Check it out right now. Your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Tickets, hospitality, upgrades still available. Get them right now. Check them out. PhoenixRaceway.com. That's PhoenixRaceway.com. And don't miss out on NASCAR coming to the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, man. That's probably about as elite as it gets on the entire series. Check them out right now. Find the link in the show notes.
A lot of people think we're Diamond Dogs together. We got the return of Damon Dog today. Speaking of dogs, speaking of close teammates, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. We teased it. Let's get to it. Here's Kyler Murray, Bo. You had a chance to connect with him today. Here's K1 on that MHJ connection entering 2025.
Honestly, I would say communication, and understanding what he's thinking and him understanding what I'm thinking. But I think as a rookie, hell, he might have been scared of me. I don't know what he like it just. You had to get to know him a little bit. He's got to feel comfortable with you, and just we had to go through the fire kind of to get that relationship to keep going and keep making strides off the field. That way we could feel each other on and off the field as far as what he's thinking, what I'm thinking. But no, man, me and Marv are in a great place. Honestly, night and day from when we drafted him to now. He'll start conversations with me. I don't gotta beg him to talk to me or anything like that. So. No, I love where we're at. Now it's just time to go execute.
I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear. It's just like last year, maybe he was scared of me. And we know, Marv, he's not scared of anybody, but he's a quiet, subdued guy. Mm-hmm. And, I think Kyler Murray, he himself has had that reputation before. And I think the common denominator of criticism for Marv that I've seen from people, novices, not even analysts that break down film, is just like, well, Marv's not a dog like Malik Neighbors, and that's why he didn't get targets last year. And it's like, well, I don't want to give any credence to that argument. I also feel like Marv was put in a position of just like, probably from his offensive coordinator, just like, hey, just fall in line. This is what we do here. We run the football. We work off of play action. we get our tight ends involved, and then like be ready when the ball comes your way, like twice and a half. And what's Marv going to say? Marv was raised by, his father, who he has immense amount of respect for, who's an intense guy. I'm sure Marv is just like, okay, this is how we win here. That's not how we win here anymore, because that had a ceiling to it. And now it's like, hey, Marv, we can't win without you. Like that should be the theme this year. And Marvin Harrison Jr., our success on the team is largely predicated on your production. And I guess what? I think he's going to thrive with that mentality. That wasn't, fair or not, given to him last year.
People might try to nitpick those comments. They always do anytime you post Kyler speaking on anything, and say maybe he was scared. He wasn't like speculating. He wasn't saying anything as fact. I think he was just kind of trying to give some sort of context to everybody.
Right.
This was a guy who was, he's introverted. I don't think that's unfair to say. He's an introvert that isn't, the stereotypical diva receiver that's going to sit there and demand the football. And I think that especially when you make the transition from the college ranks to the professional ranks and at that spot, but kind of making a unique transition where you go from Ohio State with a ton of personality, and they'll probably take on anybody, right? To where you've got a bit of an egoless locker room that the Arizona Cardinals have. It's like, how do I command and demand the football and say, I need my targets. I'm your number one, your ex-receiver, but also do it in a professional manner and do it without kind of ruffling the feathers. I think that really what Kyler Murray was getting at is they've found a way to communicate. It's like he said, it's night and day how him and Marv are operating now, how they're communicating now. And, Marv, I think we have the clip. He kind of followed up on those comments.
Like I said, I think we kind of have more similar personalities, but I'm definitely more reserved, so it kind of takes me a while to get out of my shell a little bit, but definitely eventually a lot better now. Not that it was bad before, but just, I was a little quiet now.
Just a little quiet, right? And look, I think they put themselves in a good spot, and this to me, there's a stark difference. Like, I got on my phone, I just got a notification that, Tyreek Hill and Tua, they're in a good spot. It's like, okay, sure they are, but we understand with those two personalities, at least with, Cheetah, it's a big personality. Like, he fits the diva wide receiver mold very well, where Marv doesn't. And it seems like Marvin Harrison Jr., like, if anything, like the biggest knock on him is he's too quiet and reserved, but you couple that along with the work ethic, the reps are important as far as this connection goes. And it feels like they've got a healthy amount of reps. I don't think it's going to be perfect by any means, but it's going to be an absolute upgrade over what we saw last year.
Night and day. I think it will be night and day, their connection. Like, I've made my point clear. I think this passing game still leaves a lot to be desired, and we have to sift it out for 17 weeks. But like, there aren't going to be, at least based on, we're only taking what we've seen at camp on face value. Like, if they do what they've done in camp in the games, then I think everybody will feel good about Marv's production this year. He is not going to go, based on what we've seen, halves without being targeted, without being a priority in the offense. Fair enough. And that has to start this weekend, something we're going to chat to Brian Baldinger about. But I just remember, like, we had a conversation with Albert Breer, because I talked to Albert at the Super Bowl, and then we talked to him at the Cardinals facility during training camp. And he's so tapped into Ohio State's program, and he's so close with Austin Ford. And he made a point. I think he put this in his article recently. I couldn't find the clip or the write-up before the show, but basically said something to the effect of, like, these bigger receivers, sometimes it just takes longer. Fair or not. Like, the more compact individuals, and you and I have made this argument too. It's like when you're 6'1", and you're almost built like a bigger running back, and your game is predicated on yak and physicality, like you're going to produce quicker.
Yeah.
Whereas
the ball in their hands, get the ball in space.
Right. That's not Marv's game. Marv's game, I think, still has a higher ceiling, is about stretching the field vertically, which is something that this team has had a difficult time doing. It's about winning one-on-one battles, jump balls. It's about back shoulder fades. It's just, to me, it's like when you think about like an AJ Green, Larry Fitzgerald, like that's what it looks like. And he had all those metrics to support that. So again, I know like it's not going to be fair to Marv until it happens. and there are people just like Kyler Murray, coincidentally, there are people that are out there that are waiting for him to stumble.
Sure.
Whereas like Malik Neighbors has already been crowned, and Brian Thomas Jr., I'm not taking anything away from him. He had a great year.
Yeah.
Like if you can't, and this is where I can't fathom him not producing minus injury. If you're a franchise like the Cardinals and you can't get production out of Marvin Harrison Jr., it's never going to happen with the current offensive infrastructure ever, whether it's the quarterback, the play caller, the receiver coach. Marvin Harrison Jr., what we've seen, who we've taught, we've had Brian Hartline, the receiver coach at Ohio State, say he's the best of the group. If you can't get production out of him, he wants it, he works at it, he studies hard, then the Cardinals, it's a you problem. And guess what? Marv will be here longer than a lot of the names I just mentioned. So you better it's best that you get on board with this now and figure it out.
Well, if Marv doesn't take a jump in year 2, and you're right, you're absolutely right, who that's an indictment on. It becomes an exception even to their own rules, right? This is an organization that expects a leap from year 1 to year 2 and year 2 to year 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what that looks like, for Paris and Garrett Williams, but from year 1 to year 2 for both of those, heavily, respected draft picks, those guys, they did what was necessary. If Marvin, who I don't think it's even any debate, most talented, of all the guys they've brought into this building, if they can't get that type of production, if they can't get that leap, then yes, there is, you gotta have to go through the evidence and pinpoint, what was the cause of this not being successful. So, all signs point to him being able to do that for this, because you don't want this to go against the grain any more than it already has. But no, I think there's something to Breer's point. I mean, you can even kind of push that to Calvin Johnson, who is a bigger bodied guy. He played, I know he played barely almost a full season his rookie year, but he was under 800 yards his first year. And, Fitz well under, there's a long list. And, we see so many success cases, but to your point, a lot of those guys, it's get the ball in their hands and let them do work on the ground. Justin Jefferson, probably a little bit of the exception to that.
Yeah. Now, to me, it comes down to this team understanding where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are. And they would have to be naive to think they can succeed replicating what they did last year, even with this easier schedule. You're just this offense, to me, is the key to the ceiling, which we all believe is 12, 13 wins. Yeah. But it can also be, if you don't embrace this evolution, you can also find yourself out of the playoffs again. And then then people are going to start clamoring for people to get fired.
Yeah. By the way, great Marv little figurine you have over your shoulder there from our friend that was at our event last week.
Yes.
That did great work. Copper State Collector.
They do great work. This is the only Marv statuette that they had, and I said, "That's mine. I'm taking it."
Yeah. They're gonna come for you, and they're gonna sue you
for it. I paid. Come on. We got anything else from K1 or Marv?
No, I mean we do. I just one last point is as far as Marv, don't you think it's a bit talking out of both sides of your mouth? And I know you guys are gonna hate me for this because it works with yesterday's conversation about offense.
Oh no.
If Marv does take that step,
yes,
is that not enough to supplement this offense in the passing attack?
Yeah, it is.
Because what we're talking about would kind of appease all of most of what we're pounding the table for, even myself, that there is a downfield passing attack.
I was texting with Seth Cox, who's the site manager for Revenge of the Birds. He does good stuff, and he said he wants to come out to Gila this year. I said, we're there. He says he goes to Gila a lot with his wife. I said, let's go. He thinks Marv and Trey easily hit 1,000 yards this year, and I'm like, well, is that enough? And that's basically the scenario you're posing to me. Is that enough at the end of the day? With a little bit of James Conner and a little bit of Michael Wilson, a little bit of Zay Jones, it probably is. I even think
sprinkle those guys in there. Yeah.
Right. I even think you can subtract some of Trey's receiving yards from last year. If the touchdowns go up, I'm okay with that. If Trey has 900 yards, but 8 touchdowns, and Marvin has 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns, That's a really robust passing game. The problem with it last year, it wasn't just the numbers, Bo. It just looks so difficult. There nothing. There was probably, I'd count them on one hand how many times we watched their passing game operate and thought to ourselves, like, this looks great. This looks seamless. Everything is there. Like the Niners game at the end of the year, which I'm sorry, does not count. Even the Patriots game that they blew out the Patriots, that was an ugly first half.
Christian Gonzalez dominated.
Right. I mean, it's just like, there were few and far between.
I think Solak put it probably the best. Like it was on high difficulty. It was like all Madden as far as that connection went. And I don't think there were a whole lot of people, all parties involved, with Marv, I think, taking the least amount of the responsibility because he's a rookie. As far as why that kind of didn't hit the ground running, why it wasn't just out of the gates stronger than we saw it, too consistently throughout last season. Let's save and table some of the Kyler comments because I think it's important for people to hear from the franchise quarterback and hear how locked in he is. But we got to get to our guy Baldy coming up here, Johnny.
Yeah, right around the corner, Brian Baldinger. We preview week 1. Are the Cardinals on upset alert, or is this a non-starter? Baldy's breakdowns coming up. Speaking of breakdowns, I'm ready to break down the best sunglasses money can buy. Our friends at Shady Raids. You know that moment when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses on the beach, which I've done. I've been taken out by a robust wave on the roof of your car, at a gas station 3 states away. We've all been there. Again, I found Shady Rays. Bo's found them. They're game changers, friends. These sunglasses are made for real life. They're seriously good looking, polarized, durable, not crazy expensive. I was at Lake Cannon over the holiday weekend, Bo. I sent you some lovely photos.
Mm-hmm.
My soon-to-be brother-in-law jumped into the lake, lost his sunglasses, and they were not Shady Rays. I said, it's time for you to make a change, friend. And he agreed. We're going to get him hooked up like everybody else. Turn to Shady Rays right now. 35% off polarized sunglasses using the bonus code PHNX, ShadyRays.com. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, the best sunglasses money can buy. Most of the time, you plug in our code, you're getting a pair of sunglasses well under $40 that are as durable and high quality as any of the quote-unquote name brands that you can find. Get them now, ShadyRays.com.
It's funny. I see some players, I'll run into some players, and they always ask me, like, do you have video footage of Johnny being tossed by that wave? I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it and watch it on replay. Also, Noah and I got our first chance to go into the locker room today and saw all the Cardinals gear that I want to purchase, and I know exactly where I can find most of it. How about Rally House? Rally House, of course, your go-to spot for all your local Arizona team gear, whether it's Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Suns, Arizona State, Wildcats, GCU. They've got it in the walls, the racks. They're all lined with all your favorite teams' gear here locally. You got your game day needs, hats, they got them. How about jerseys, best selection in drinkware, signage, coolers, socks, even have sunscreen, which is crazy. That's sicko behavior from our friends at Rally House, because if you're a sicko like us, sure you are, well, welcome, friends. That's what Rally House is all about. You are welcome there. Find your local Rally House location. Shop their entire product assortment online, rallyhouse.com. Find your location, whether it's Tempe, Mesa, Glendale. If you're out of state, rallyhouse.com.
Brian Baldinger coming up, but I remind everybody right now, become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Perfect time to pick up. How about this? One of these premier new t-shirts, AllCITY merch right now. I love this. They call it the 90s throwback tee at the bottom there. And then we've got our Red Sea Football Club and then our classic Arizona football. We got more shirts coming out too, but this is how we just give you a little taste to kick off the season. Become a diehard right now. Go PHNX.com. $36, a preseason training camp special that goes through this weekend. Get that free football club t-shirt. Again, want to welcome all of our new diehards, Bo. We're so fired up. It's so humbling when we see people sign up to become a diehard, because you with your support are helping us, frankly, keep the lights on and do what we do and love what we do every single day. So again, become a diehard right now. Jimmy, big shout out to Jimmy on social media, becoming a diehard this morning. And again, tag us on Twitter, immediate follow, immediate retweet from the Beat account. And become a diehard today. One is officially upon us. Johnny Venerable, Brack, PHNX Cardinals, joined by AllCITY NFL insider analyst Baldy. Baldy's breakdowns here with Brian Baldinger. Baldy, we've got a robust slate here in week 1. Arizona Cardinals travel to New Orleans. On the surface level, what stands out to this game for you?
Well, I mean, it starts with, honestly, just what you're going to see from the New Orleans Saints. They just named their starting quarterback. I was there in training camp this summer. Neither one was impressive, but they went with whatever the veteran you want to call, a guy that's going to start his, 6th or 7th game. But, I mean, to me, it's always about affecting the quarterback. And the Cardinals have spent a lot of money and resources upgrading their defense. This should be, I mean, they got a soft schedule to start with, but they should get off to a good start. Defensively, they should be able to take care of business. This is not a juggernaut that they're going into to play the New Orleans Saints. And if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not overlooking them. I'm just not going to give them the respect that you would some other teams in week 1.
Baldy, today in his press conference, Jonathan Gannon admitted that he hasn't had the greatest track record against Kellen Moore, but Dak Prescott's not walking through that door. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, like those guys, those quarterbacks he's worked with in the past, they're not going to be playing on Sunday. You know, JG as a DC gave up 40 points, 50 points to Kellen Moore and the Cowboys way back when. But does that even play a factor here? I mean, you got to imagine like there's just too big of a difference in personnel.
No, it doesn't make a difference. Kellen is a really good play caller. I was there at a scrimmage this year. They had 126 play scrimmage. He called every snap. I mean, it was literally 2.5 straight hours of scrimmage. But I mean, he wanted to get his team ready for the regular season, so they put him through the paces. Like he's worked them hard, and they're out there in that New Orleans heat. I mean, they'll be in shape. They'll be ready. It's always a tough place to play, but Spencer Rattler is not he's not a star quarterback. I mean, you got to get to him. They've got some speed on the outside that you have to be wary of. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, they can run with anybody. They've got speed on the outside, I'm sure, and the offense line has been upgraded. So, they have ways to get the ball down the field. But, I mean, if I was Jonathan Gannon, I would be delivering a message all week that we are not going there to fool around, to wait and see what we got. We're going there to attack, and I would get after it real early, real fast. I mean, whether it's blitz schemes or pressure schemes or, whatever you got to do. I mean, I would turn up the heat real quick on this kid to see what he's got.
Yeah, I think that mindset, Baldy, has to be echoed to the offensive side of the ball as well. You've got Brandon Staley, who has had some success as a DC previously, but he's got a brand new unit. Let's just call spade a spade, like lacking personnel. Reminds me a lot of where the Cardinals were a couple years ago. I mean, for Kyler Murray in this offense, Bo and I have made this consistent argument that it can't just look okay, a move the sticks kind of game. These are the kind of games where you have to put up crooked numbers in a robust league, especially when you're going indoors. All the advantages to the offense for the Arizona Cardinals.
Fast track. I mean, I agree. And they are a talent challenge team right now. They just are. And they've missed on a lot of pass rushers that they have drafted. They've all moved on. A lot of them have moved on to other teams. This is not a bona fide defense. This is the defense where you go, let's go execute. Let's go execute, and let's put up a big number. Let's get this thing started right. Nobody played in the preseason. Like they've all been kind of like, underneath the hood here. So let's come out and be sharp. This is the 3rd year together with this group right now. I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not sitting there and waiting to see what we have. You should know what you have. 3 years, same system, same play caller. Like, they've upgraded it in certain areas over the couple of years now, but they want to run it. They should be able to run it. You want to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going, then get him going. Like there's going to be opportunities to do a lot of that stuff, but ultimately it comes down to, really good execution, crisp execution, something that, was missing from this team at the end of the season last year.
Yeah, I mean, we know they can run the football. James Conner, that offensive line, it's all geared to establish the run. But the biggest concern, something you've talked about, is that Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. connection. And we talked to Kyler today. He says, as far as their chemistry, their communication, it's night and day. But what can they do in this game specifically to kind of set the tone for 2025?
Well, I mean, really, it's about them. I mean, you could say, okay, let's attack, the left corner. Paulson Adebo isn't there anymore. They play a lot of press coverage. At least they have in the past. Now, it's not really what Brandon Staley does. But regardless, I mean, you want to get your playmakers the ball. And so I want to see him get the ball in Marvin's hands. I don't care if it's hit screens or tunnel screens or, quick slants. I want to get my number one receiver the ball. I want to target him. I want him to feel like he's involved in this game. He's going to be involved, not in just this game, but going forward. I want to feed him. And we know we can get the ball to Trey McBride. We know we can hand it off to a couple of really good backs. But you need to get Marvin Harrison involved in this game. And it doesn't matter if he's going up against Alontae Taylor or whoever's at corner right now. They've got to attack. And that's the way you have to play it if you have your goal to go win the NFC West division.
Yeah, and a big part of that obviously is going to be the play of Kyler Murray. And again, entering his seventh year, he's had times where he's looked like, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he's got times where you're begging for some consistency, Baldy. Like, it's difficult for us to nitpick an opening Sunday in September, where in large stretches of the season, he's going to be evaluated fair and on what he does November and December. Is there anything that he can show you on Sunday? And some critics out there of Kyler Murray, of where he's gone as an evolution of a thrower of the football, somebody who is going to be in that category that we thought first overall pick once upon a time, Lamar, Joe Burrow, etc.
Well, I mean, look, if the throw is there to be made on time, make the throw on time. We know that Kyler Murray can extend plays. Great. Okay, if you choose to do that because you got an occluded, vision to the middle of the field, whatever, and you got to move to go get better vision, all right, great. But be fundamentally sound. Set your feet, make the throw. If you just want to say Joe Burrow, I mean, Joe Burrow is nearly perfect every time he throws a football. That's why the ball goes where he wants it to go more times than not. That's why they had the best receiver in football last year. I mean, Kyler Murray knows how to throw a football, but he still has to be fundamentally sound. And you can't play, for lack of a better term, you're not going to win playing street ball. Like, now you can get out of the pocket, you can move, you can extend plays, but get your feet set, make your throw, be accurate with the throw, and that all comes from fundamentals. And it always comes back to fundamentals. Throwing the ball through a tire. Every quarterback is challenged to do that. Some do it better than others. It's time for Kyler to do that. And really, against teams, I mean, this schedule, I mean, it sets up pretty good to get some momentum, and to get some feel good about you early in the season. So, but only take it one at a time. You take this New Orleans team. This is a team where you should have one of those days where you're 26 to 31 and you're 280 yards. I mean, it should be that kind of a day, honestly, for Kyler.
Yeah, to kind of follow up on that, maybe sum up this offensive performance that we're expecting here come Sunday. I mean, talk about Burrow to Jamar Chase, like that perfect connection exists between Kyler Murray and Trey McBride. We know they can do that. We know they can run the football. If they don't get that connection going with Marv, can you take that as a slight against this team, even in a solid win?
I mean, you take the win, number one, and you'll move on. But you would certainly like to see in year two, you'd like to see that connection, really look like a connection. And we all know what it will look like. Third downs, red zone, you need to play. You got to extend a drive. You're in a 2-minute drive. You need a chunk. I mean, there's a reason why Jamar was the 5th player taken in the draft or something like that. Whatever it was. I mean, that's what Marvin was basically. So, make it look like that. And that's why otherwise it's going to look like, it just needs to get off to a good start. They've had the whole offseason, all the problems they had last year where they look like they were disconnected. Like, that should be gone. This should body language, routes, timing, comebacks, this should be crisp on Sunday.
Yeah, I echo that. I think style points matter, Baldy, for some of these games. It can't look like at the end of last year, beating bad teams like New England and, the Jets and the Bears. We know they can beat bad teams, but, can this team evolve as an operation? We mentioned it year 3 with Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenford. Like, what's your confidence level in the regime? Because again, you talk about like the crescendo, the rebuild is over, right? These are their players. These are their draft picks, free agent signings. You've got both coordinators coming back. I mean, your assessment of whether or not like this team is built for the postseason this year.
Well, you got to stack W's. I don't care. And if there's injuries, there's injuries. I mean, you got Jacoby Brissett there. If anything happens to Kyler, he's won a lot of games in this league. He's been a starter. I mean, you look across the board, and they've got solid starters, and they've got solid veterans. And but this is the third year for Jonathan Gannon. I don't know how patient you need to be. Third year with Monty. I mean, this is a regime that should compete. Seattle won 10 games last year in a new regime, so everybody, Sean McVay didn't take long before he put the Rams on the map. So he's gotten to the Super Bowl with 2 different quarterbacks, and they built teams, and they built good teams. But this is a wide open division in my mind. And so this is the year you got to go. This is it. This is the year you got to go put up a minimum of 10 wins. 10 wins didn't get Seattle in the playoffs last year, so it might not be good enough. But this is the year that you want to put it all together.
Preface my question with this. I like what Monty Ossenford did with the pass rush room this offseason. Goes out and gets Sweaty J. Josh Sweat comes over. Big performance in the Super Bowl, has been consistent there in Philly, playing all those different roles that they like the outside linebacker to do. They bring back Baron Browning. Really like Jordan Burch as a 3rd-round pick out of Oregon. And then we see Micah Parsons last week get dealt to Green Bay. I think Albert Breer said there were maybe 6 teams that inquired seriously on Parsons. Anytime you're going to see Parsons go, like, should that team have been in on him? Like, should the Cardinals have been on him? And what do you think about their pass rush room? Is it enough to compete?
It's not elite. It's not an elite group. It's a good group. We'll see what Jordan Burch becomes. It's a good group. But if I never believed that Micah Parsons was going to be dealt the whole time, I never believed it until it happened on last Thursday. But if he truly was available and you weren't all in for what they gave up, which was, I couldn't believe, Green Bay is going to probably be a playoff team like they were a year ago. You're going to get 2 picks in the 20s. You're not going to find another Micah Parsons in the 20s. Like, if you had a chance to get Micah Parsons, it changes. Green Bay, in my mind, is the favorite to win that division right now. But he changes the balance of power in this business when you get a player goes. I'm not comparing him to Reggie White, but I was in Philly when Reggie left via free agency to Green Bay. He changed that entire organization and won a Super Bowl 3 years later. Like, those kind of players change the balance of power in any division.
Last year, Baldy, the top of the NFC West was separated by just a game or 2. In fact, it was a tiebreaker between the Rams and the Seahawks. And then a lot of people are back in on San Francisco, given the fact their schedule is incredibly soft. Like, how do you see this division playing out? Because, again, I think you can make an argument for any of the 4 teams.
You can, but it really comes down to how you play in your own division. Like, they're going to play the AFC South, right? So there's a lot of wins in the AFC South, in my mind. You're going to see one week 2. Like, there's wins there. Your home opener is against Carolina. Like that, you're going to see Jacksonville. You're going to see Tennessee. It's how you play in your division right now. And you build your team to win in your division. That's why they went out there and added all these defensive pieces. Now, we'll see how they all come together. But, in my mind, they had to upgrade the defense, and they did. At least on paper, they have. So now let's go affect these quarterbacks. Let's go affect Sam Darnold and, Brock Purdy. Let's get after, Matthew Stafford. Let's see how good that back is. Like all those kind of things. You build your team to win in your division. You see these teams twice. You got 6 division games. I think the winner of the division probably comes out of the division with the best record.
We're not going to be able to see Walter Nolen start the season for the next 4 games at least with the calf injury. But we're really excited about 2nd-round pick Will Johnson, 47th overall, slides because of the medical flag near towards the end of the draft process. What do you need to see from the Michigan product early on? And it seems like it's a good opportunity here going against Rattler, going against this passing attack.
I agree. Like I like Will, and I think he's going to be a really good player. He's got great ball skills. He did at Michigan, and I like he brings that to the table, and so I think it's a pretty good secondary. I think I don't have any statistics in front of me, but I think Jalen Buddha might have more games played together at safety than any other safety combination in this whole league. They really play well together, and Buddha has his own package. They gamble a great deal. They're good tacklers. Like I want to see Will. You know, I'm anxious to see if he's actually going to travel and if he's going to go match up, on a Tetaroa McMillan or whoever he might play, Chris Olave, whatever. Or is he just going to stay on one side of the field? Because I think he's got the ability to actually travel, but I think he's a special player. And ultimately, if you're going to win this division this year, my guess is you're going to have a minimum of 25 takeaways. That's where you got to get to. If you get to 30, I'd say you have a good chance to win the division. So you need guys who have ball skills, and you need to get the ball to come out. You need to punch it out. I'm sure they work on those drills every day, but Will Johnson has his ball skills have traveled with him.
Baldy, looking around the quarterback kind of hierarchy in this division, Stafford, again, coming off an injury, but it appears on pace to play this weekend. And you look at Brock Purdy with, consistency, but limitations to a lot of people. But then Sam Darnold is kind of the anomaly of this group where he was with a loaded offensive team, a high-level offensive head coach last year. He goes to inclement weather, I think you could say, in Seattle with a bunch of new pieces. Like, what's your assessment for Darnold in this division?
I expect him to play really well. Now, he was awesome last year up until, the final 2 weeks of the season. But the offensive line collapsed around him. Look, he went, after failed stops in New York and in Carolina, like he was in some really good spots. He was in San Francisco with Kyle. He's been with Kevin O'Connell. He's been around some really great offensive coaches. And now he's with Clint Kubiak, who I think is a real quality offensive coordinator. I think he's got a solid offense that he has installed. And Sam's perfect for it. He's got good movement. He goes to his left really good. There's a lot of bootlegs to the left. He sees the field very well. He's not a guy that flinches much under pressure. And so he's got a good offensive line. They've really upgraded it. Gray Zabel looks like a great pick for him. They look like they're a lot better up front. I expect Sam Darnold to play at a very high level.
Real quick, Baldy, my last question are they the team with the highest upside in this division, like talent wise? Because I think we've seen an exodus of talent in San Francisco. We like a lot of the players for the Cardinals. They're unproven. And then, the Rams have an old quarterback and you trust McVay. Do you think Seattle has the best collection, 53-man roster?
Well, it's sort of, it all depends. Like if Christian McCaffrey is McCaffrey from 2 years ago, then San Francisco is going to be right in the mix because he's just that good and he sets everything up. But Seattle has upgraded their talent across the board. Like Mike McDonald is a great coach. And defensively, he does things that forces quarterbacks to hold the ball. Brock Purdy's going to see that defense week one. And so he forced you to hold the ball. That's why they led the league in takeaways and in sacks 2 years ago in Baltimore, because that's what teams were doing. It took about a half a year last year to figure it out. But Mike McDonald's a good coach. And if they play to his vision, they're gonna be very tough.
Baldy, along with you joining us this season, we upgraded our roster even more so. We added Kurt Warner. He's going to start joining us twice a month. I
hear he knows a little bit about the game.
He does a little bit. Of course,
I don't know if that Wi-Fi in Brazil right now is working good enough for him to check in with you guys, but you should get me and Kurt on at the same time. I'll just try to get a word in edgewise when Kurt is talking. But
well, I just wanted to see if you had any encouraging messages for our new colleague coming up next week, because he can't join us because he is in Brazil, but he'll join us next week. Anything you want us to pass along to your NFL Network colleague?
Well, tell Kurt that he has to analyze more than just quarterbacks. Like my mother can analyze quarterbacks. Tell him to start looking at right guards and left defensive tackles. See if he's got an eye for how those guys are playing.
Yeah, we want to see Kurt's breakdown of Isaiah Adams and Jordan Birch.
I want to see Isaiah Adams breakdown. All right.
Baldy, where are you at this weekend, my guy?
I am in Philly tomorrow night. Philly and Dallas tomorrow night. And then I'll be in Washington, Giants in Washington on Sunday.
NFC East. All right.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be joining us all season long. So fortunate to have him back in the fold.
Yeah.
Brian Baldinger, NFL Network, AllCITY NFL analyst. Thank you so much, my guy.
You got it, guys. All the best, man. Good luck this week.
The best in the business, Brian Baldinger. We got Damon Dog. Hold or fold the line returns plus injury reports. It's PHNX Cardinals. So much good stuff on the docket. How about tomorrow night? Mañana, Thursday night football action with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. See for yourself with our Thursday night football touchdown package. Hoo-ah! Place a qualifying parlay bet totaling $20 or more on the game and get a bonus bet for every single touchdown. Terms and conditions apply. Download the Bet365 app today. PHNX 365 when you sign up. Again, choose your offer. Find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. Plus, they've got the football early payout offer when your team is a winner. They go up by 17 points, you're getting the payout. Bada boom, bada bing, you're done. You're good to go. Last season, NFL season, money lines were paid out 4 times as much because of the early payout. So again, applies to college football as well, the NFL. Make money with our friends at Bet365. New customers, $100, $200, how about $300 in bonus bets? That's a huge number. That's the biggest I've seen across any sports book. When you bet $5, win or lose, sign up, use the bonus code PHNX365, deposit $10, place a $5 bet, you're getting $300. I'm ready to use it right now on player props, futures, bets, parlays, and more. Whatever the future, do it with Bet365. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info. We got Bo muted.
Hold the line. No
go.
doubt about it.
You're back.
There we go. I'm back. Never left. Look, we're going to help you make some money, build a stack with Bet365, and also you can put it into your bank. And let's get a bank that can give you some perks for where you store your money. How about the My Style, Your Lifestyle checking account with our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union? Everyone needs a checking account. Those are just the facts. You can't just, the days of you just going and burying your money in the backyard or putting it and storing it in your freezer, they should be done. Let's get some perks. Let's have your money work for you. You can do that with the My Style, Your Lifestyle checking account over Mountain America Credit Union. You can enjoy perks. How about restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Check it out right now. The My Style, Your Lifestyle Mountain America Credit Union checking account, macu.com/mystyle. That's macu.com/mystyle to apply and get all the details. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. But check it all out. macu.com/mystyle.
Joining us now is the former producer of this little fanboy podcast, the host of PHNX Wildcats. We said he'd be back. Here he is. It's Damon Dog on Hold or Fold the Line. We're trying to get him on screen here. Is it possible? There he is.
There he is.
Baby Damon. What's up, my guy?
What's up, my handsome boys? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, me and Noah were working through some audio issues, but what's going on, everybody?
Sound great, my man. Where are you? Is it the new like bar studio?
Yeah, this is studio A here, which I've never done a show in. This is my first appearance in Studio A on this fine program.
Studio B for Damon's in a black hole right now. Everybody hammer that like button here. For those of you who are new to this fine little program, every single Wednesday during the NFL season, your 3 nasty boys here, we're getting nasty on a little segment I like to call Hold or Fold the Line. We each pick one singular bet. We track our bets throughout the course of the NFL season, including the postseason. And we sling a lot of insults at each other along the way, Bo. Do you want to kick us off? Do you want to get us started here?
It's pretty gross what happens here. Things get nasty.
They
to say
do.
the least. And I was actually talking at the office yesterday, Johnny, as you never join us, about, hey, maybe this time with Hold or Fold the Line, maybe it would benefit all of us to have success instead of piling on each other and wishing for each other's downfall. And this thought about this utopian future where we're all making money, making everybody money. And then we came to the realization that that's just not how we are. We just want bad things for each other. And I want nothing but you guys to lose bets this week and me to win. And I'm going to start with the biggest fat winner of the weekend. And actually before that, the one that our guy Kurt Warner, our new colleague Damon, is going to be on the call for. Give me the Chargers over the Chiefs to win this week. Give me them. I believe it's at plus 135 right now on the Bet365 app. We're going to start this season off 1-0, boys, and it's going to be with Jim Harbaugh year 2. They fell, I think, by 2 points and 7 points in their series with the Chiefs last year. I think they kick off year 2 with a dub in Brazil.
I don't hate that. I think, listen, that team has a lot of cachet. They lost Rashawn Slater. I think the Chiefs are incredibly vulnerable this year. I think this is the beginning of the deterioration of that roster. And I think I like the Chargers vibe infinitely more. So this is a rarity. I will hold with Bull Brock here in week 1, Damon Dog.
Yeah, I'm with you, Johnny. I want to fold Bo's pick all season long as well. But unfortunately, I think that the Chiefs probably start off a little bit slow. I think that they pick it up later in the season. I think this is primed to be an early season Chargers W, especially a neutral site. I mean, I think it's a good pick, Bo.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Maybe there is hope for us.
This is seamless. Damon Dog, Bo told us either on air or off air that he expected a singular pick from you this week. The slightest touch of plus money, and you did not disappoint. He called it. Let's see it, Damon Dog. What are you riding with this week?
I'm just going to go ahead and run the damn football, take everybody by surprise. Going Dolphins spread. No one saw this one coming. Here's my reasoning. I think the Dolphins are about a 7, 8, maybe 9 if everything breaks right, win football team this year. They're usually pretty good when they're healthy. Week 1 is when you're healthiest. If they can't beat Danny Dimes and the Indianapolis Colts, we're talking 4 wins in South Florida this season. So I'm teasing the spread up a little bit. I'm going Dolphins minus 2.5 at plus 104 there to get into the plus money.
Man,
I'm with you on this one. I think it's absurd that the Colts are getting as much credit by the Sharps. I think you got to go with the fish. I'm here with the Fins, man. I mean, load me up. Let's go. Let's get the. You're out on this. I'm holding with Damon Dog. You like Danny Dimes? You would. How many times did he bet on Danny Dimes last year?
He's
Damon?
Obsessed with it. And you know what? But I'm just go ahead and we're gonna get into Johnny's pick right now, Johnny.
Hang on. I have something to say about the Colts, and that is this is our Colts. We love them. On hold or fold the line. I'm folding. I wish I would have taken Colts money line, honestly, because this is perfect for Danny Dimes vibes, the city of Indianapolis, to ingratiate him, to prop him up. The prodigal son returns. There is so much bad aura and vibe around the Miami Dolphins. It's like a bad reality show. Tua, nobody's listening to Mike McDaniel. Everything going on with Tyreek Hill. I could see that team showing up in Indy and just getting worked by a bad Colts team. No offense, Damon. I want you to have nice things. Everybody's picking what do you think? The rationale is everybody thinks Miami's going to be terrible this year.
I just think the facade. It's 2 teams with a facade, right? There's just dysfunction on both sides, but different dysfunction. You've got like the wholesome Danny Dimes, and then you've got what's going on in Miami. And like, to me, that's more authentic. And I think that's going to play better in week 1.
You know what, John? We're not worried about the outside noise. We're not worried about what maybe the Dov Kleinmans of the world are saying about us. We got blinders on, tunnel vision this season. Mike McDaniel has the boys right. But in actuality, like I said, I just think that if you lose this game, like, you're gearing up to be one of the worst teams in football, because Tua is probably not playing a full season.
Yeah.
If he's playing against the Colts and it's an L, like, I just don't know where you go from there. And maybe I'm wrong on this one, but all I was going to say on you, Johnny, was I could have told you were fading the 49ers. I could have told you that 6 months ago. I mean, it was the most obvious pick from Johnny's standpoint of all time.
Hang on. We're going to get to that pick right around the corner when we head into overtime.
Thank you to everybody that tuned in on our TV partners. That concludes that version of PHNX Cardinals. But we can continue on. Hopefully you hit gophnx.com to listen to Johnny's, as Damon said, telegraph take.
Yeah, it's telegraphed. Does everybody smell? It's the dead rotting corpse of San Francisco, and it continues into 2025. Would anyone like to guess what the Niners' road divisional record was in 2024?
Was it 0-3?
Well, it was. And they were 1-5 in the NFC West last year. 1-5 in the division. How bad is that? It continues on. You cannot convince me that Brock Purdy, noodle arm and all, with Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and an old Christian McCaffrey they're going into Seattle and putting up enough points to win that game. I'm sorry. Like, let's see the line. This is free money. The Seahawks at plus 120. This is the last time, because I think Seattle has a chance to shut them out. This is the last time this year that you're going to get an opponent of note for the 49ers, and they're going to be plus money. Because for the rest of the year, whether it's the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks again, when they occasionally play a real team, you will have to, tease it up. But this is free right now. There is no way the Seahawks are losing to that team. And again, I don't love Sam Darnold. I think Mike McDonald can win this game on his own. I'm not buying into Christian McCaffrey's old Achilles legs. Brian Robinson, Chosen Anderson being brought in. I know they cut him. Russell Gage, I think, is on this team. It's one of the worst collection of skill players in the NFL. How are they scoring against Mike McDaniel's defense, which was elite at the end of last year, and it's only gotten better? How are they scoring more than 20 points? Whereas everybody can score 20 points against this Niner defense. I mean, it just say out loud. Mike McDonald versus Brock Purdy. This is an easy layup. I don't even have to take a spread. Money line, please. Yeah. Money, please.
I think you can double down on this one. Not only do you take this one, but yeah, get ahead of this and get the Cardinals game in week 3. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals are dogs right now because, to Johnny's point, once things get a little ugly here and people aren't going to take their win in week 2 over New Orleans seriously, that you can probably get a little more action come week 3.
I'm gonna go ahead and fold Johnny's pick here. Wow. And here's why. Okay. I think I'm the biggest Sam Darnold hater on planet Earth.
That's fair.
I after what that horror show we witnessed in the NFC wildcard round last season at State Farm Stadium, where Sam Darnold is turtle tucking the ball like a 4-year-old basketball game.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't put my trust in that guy. I think the Niners win week 1 because I just think that Sam Darnold is a dumpster fire.
He is notoriously bad at football. I don't know what that was, the witchcraft that they had last year.
They get enough pressure though on Sammy to see ghosts again. I don't know. I mean, that was the biggest thing in that game against the Rams. The Rams just lit him up, and he reverted back to Darnold 1.0.
I also think I think Seattle can run the football. We saw that last year. I didn't love Minnesota's run game last year. I actually thought that Darnold carried that offense. You trade away DK Metcalf. You're putting a lot of pressure on Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, you're basically telling opposing teams you can double Jackson Smith and Jigba. And speaking of corpses, you got Cooper Kupp out there running around with about a 5.2 40. I mean, I'm with you, Damon. I think there are opportunities to fade Seattle. I'm actually if I was a Seattle fan, you've won 9 and 10 games back-to-back years respectfully, and you've gutted your offense in an attempt to upgrade. And most people, the general consensus is this is the worst team in the NFC West. I don't think Seattle's a world beater, but we just talked to Brian Baldinger. I do think they have the biggest margin for the ceiling for their team. I just think they have a lot of really good players, but Darnold, if he reverts back to Panthers Darnold, then you're talking about just an unmitigated disaster, especially how good Geno Smith looks with the Las Vegas Raiders.
One quick thing before I get out of here. I just have to bring this up because I saw it on Twitter during the show.
Yeah.
We're scoffing at playoff wins now in Glendale. That's what we're doing, Bo Brock. I've honestly I can't wrap my head around that one. I'm taking a playoff win and I'm running with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you would another. You're a tortured fan from another tortured franchise. You haven't seen a playoff win your entire life. I understand that, but I think you're selling this team short by just saying, let's lock it in right now. Here's where do I sign? And let's just take a 9-8 season and all the trials and tribulations that go with that. the peaks, the valleys, Johnny screaming, crying sometimes on air. Like that's what comes with a 9-8 season and backing into the playoffs. And like, I don't think a wild card round win with a division exit against JJ McCarthy is going to be the cure all that he seems to think it's going to be.
But the alternative is then you better win the NFC West and you better host a playoff game and win that playoff game. That is basically what Bo is telling everybody that he expects from this team. I don't know if that's fair to expect that. I think I would cap like the wins of this team.
You're like, hey, expect the bare minimum.
No, I'm just trying to be realistic here.
The bare minimum.
Just putting words in my mouth again. Damon, I knew I could count on you. We're going to count on Damon every single Wednesday. He returns to hold or fold the line. Things are going to get gross. And then check out my guy, Damon, holding it down in studio with our guy, Espo. We're going to be dialing in from New Orleans, back and forth. They're going to be holding down with me on the halftime show and the post game. So, Damon, can't wait to chat with you on a robust Week 1 NFL slate, my guy.
Yeah, can't wait. That's the right way of putting it. Who was the Jets player who said can't wait back in the day?
Yeah.
I mean, verbal meme. That's all it needs to be said. I can't wait for it.
Subscribe to the PHNX Wild. Who the Wildcats got this weekend?
We got Weber State. It's a big one. It's an absolutely massive one. No, we're gonna win by 50 points. Should be an easy W. But tune into the postgame show, pregame and postgame from the AZ Wildcats podcast.
Damian Lillard,
Kev.
Yep.
It's the only thing I know about Weber State. It's in Utah somewhere, and Damian Lillard went there. That's it.
This is not a bias. I only consume Wildcat information from PHNX Wildcats. I think everything else is mid to bad. So, again, hammer the like button for our guy, Damon Dog. Damon, we'll see you this weekend, my guy.
Yep. See you guys.
Damon working that 6-7 day work week, going to be crushing it with college football Saturday. And, of course, Sunday, we got a full slate of NFL action. All right, back to our nasty Cardinals.
I mean, he's going to get warmed up watching some Weber State Wildcats.
I know, right?
And then just jump right into
the Saints
the NFL
are this
Sunday.
close to Weber State, though. I think Weber State and the Saints, whatever the Saints are about to trot out. Speaking of that, you had the injury report on Twitter, which was soup low key for the Cardinals, but the Saints had one big addition. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, it was one that had kind of hit the Twitter streets before the official injury report made its way out from the Saints. The Cardinals, I mean, they're, as Jonathan Gannon said, they're at full strength relative to this organization. Sure, you had the losses throughout training camp of Starling Thomas and Walter Nolen, but you get Will Hernandez, who's one of two people that showed up on here. Let's take a look at it. It's Will Hernandez as he makes his way back from PUP and IR, but he's on the active roster, just limited. And then John Games, he was a full participant, had that thumb worked on. So they're at full strength here. And then you notice the Saints, they got one of their starting interior offensive linemen, Trevor Penning, with the toe. Christian Boyd, who was kind of a draft darling out of Northern Iowa that we liked, defensive tackle. But the big one here at the bottom, who was the late entry, because it happened late in practice, according to reports, had a calf injury. That's right. Nick Underhill, the most dialed-in Saints reporter, says Chase Young suffered a calf injury in practice today. And I know Jordan Schultz has since followed up with insight from his representation and saying it's not that big a deal. But what do we know as Cardinals fans about any injury that happens to your calf? It's nothing to be overlooked.
Yeah, if he's compromised, even if they trot him out there, that's a huge coup for the Cardinals. 7 sacks last year. I mean, I think it's a low bar. This is their best front seven player. I mean, Cam Jordan, we made fun of him. He's 36 years old. I mean, it's just DeMario Davis, 35. Chase Young is at least he's 26. It feels like he's been in the NFL for 10 years, though. Here's what you do to Chase Young. You run right at him. He's got a PFF grade, 54.4 against the run. If he's compromised at all, put your boy Tip Ryman on him. Have Isaiah Adams pull right at him. You just can't leave him susceptible to, Kyler Murray third and long. And so I think, again, another opportunity for the Cardinals to just gut this Saints front seven. There should not be a lick of pressure. And here's what you can take away from the Cardinals offensive line. I was critical of the passing game concepts. The Cardinals offensive line, it's been aces this entire preseason training camp. Even the backups look good. Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, I had a ton of time, especially in Denver when we were there. So, and you're not facing the Denver Broncos front seven, which could be the best in the NFL, you're facing easily the worst. So no excuses this weekend. I mean, just as Baldy put it, like, you can't come in there overconfident. You're not overlooking anybody, but at the same time, you got these guys. To quote Jonathan Gannon, you effing got these guys and put up a crooked number, because this is not a competitive team, and you need to make them understand that early.
We used to talk about this in the reverse, right? As far as weight class fights, the Cardinals would sometimes have to fight above their weight class. This is not the case. Like, they're fighting down a couple weight classes against a team like the Saints. They just don't have the horses. They don't have the personnel. They are a team that refuses to embrace a rebuild, even though they should have done it 2 seasons ago, and they would be on a far better path than they are right now. They are on the precipice of a rebuild. They haven't even begun to tear it down. So you've got a lot of those, long in the tooth, over the hill vets mixed with, later round draft picks and guys who haven't hit in this league. It's just the Cardinals have to go in there and have a good performance. I think that's key, to what we're talking about. It's like style points matter here, going against the team is undermanned and underserved is the Saints.
Cardinals not undermanned on their defensive front. Here's Gannon talking about the keys to the game.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously added some good pieces. Some guys that we've had a couple of years or a year have improved their games, I think, feel good about all their roles. Monty and his staff has done a good job of acquiring guys that kind of fit how we like to play. And at the end of the day, our defense will go as the D-line goes. That's what I told him the other day. Like, I do believe that, you got to be able to stop the run and you got to be able to affect the passer, So that's what I'm looking for out of our front.
I mean, I love just the openness to say we're better at this position than we were. Because I think a lot of guys, I even brought it up to Nick Rollis in passing after the red and white scrimmage. I said, man, you got a bunch of new, toys to play with, a bunch of new quality personnel. And he goes, yeah, but we've really liked our guys the last couple of years. And that's true, right? You don't want to diminish or besmirch the Dante Stills of the world or the LJ Collars or the Zavens, but you also they can finally win with this front seven. This was not a winning unit. This was a unit that you put together with duct tape and you hope that you got just enough out of it. So this team to maximize, and we've talked about it both, to maximize Gannon and Rollis' defense, you have to have a robust front seven, and they finally have that now.
Yeah, you have to be able to have the chance to win with 4. And they absolutely have that. Rush in that, and then the rush and cover model, which is all 32 teams want that, but I think they've got the players in place. There's a ton of back and forth between Kellen Moore and his respect level for Gannon and Rollis and the scheme that they put out there, and vice versa. We had Gannon, talk about Kellen Moore and how much success he's had against JG.
I have a high opinion of Kellen. If you go back and look at my track record against him, it's not good, truthfully. He's always had really good offenses. He's very creative. I love it. Makes it really hard on the defense how he calls the game. He's been a couple different stops, and his offenses play in a way that's hard to defend. It really is, and not just because he's got good players. Take that out of it. Schematically, he's hard to defend. The pace that he plays with is hard to defend. It puts you on your heels, and he's always been ahead of me. So we got our work cut out for it. Now I'm not calling the game, so it's a little bit different. But I got a high opinion of Kellen.
I think Kellen Moore is a good offensive coordinator, and I think maybe at some point the Saints offense will look good this year, or have a semblance of they'll have some moments, right? I think the defense with Brandon Staley is going to be one of the worst in the NFL, but I don't think this is the week for the offense to show any signs of life. I think if you're looking for anything, it's going to be garbage. It should be garbage yards to Alvin Kamara in the second half. Yeah, yards, a bunch of receptions late.
Donnie doing some research on this. Their head-to-head meetings. This was that 2-year stretch. JG's the DC for. Yeah, there is. DC for the Eagles, and Kellen Moore worked in concert with Mike McCarthy in Dallas. Eagles went 1-3 against Dallas, and Gannon's defense gave up 41-51, 17 and 40 points. That's what, Dak Prescott and the weapons they have down there in Big D. But look, as Baldy said, it's not going to resemble those matchups at all. And I think the Cardinals are well equipped. And I see those making the point in the chat, CBK, like Rollis doesn't have a track record against Moore yet. Like, so Nick Rollis, you're up, and you can't allow, a repeat of this, because look, there's just no, it's not acceptable based on the caliber of player you're going against.
And Baldy broke it down well. He's like, neither Tyler Shuck or our guy Spencer Rattler looked good in the preseason. It's not like Kellen Moore has Dak, right? Like when Kellen Moore was with Dak Prescott, or when Kellen Moore had Justin Herbert, it was like, oh yeah, this offense looks good at times. They have good players. You're talking about an offensive coordinator who does not have good players, or now a head coach. It's about like, can Kellen Moore get Spencer Rattler to like have a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio like that? That would be huge for this team. I don't think that's in the cards at all. I think you're going to be looking at a team that is going to be susceptible to pressure, that's going to turn the ball over. Speaking of that, like Cardinals didn't have enough turnovers last year, and Baldy broke that down well. It's like, who can get the 30-plus takeaways? That has to start this weekend too.
Yeah.
This is a game where if you're Will Johnson, Garrett Williams, Max Melton, and then the front seven strip sacks with Sweaty J and the boys, to me, that's where you have to establish yourself. Because if you can get Spencer Rattler like second guess himself from the start, and people started booing him in the Superdome, it's over. But if you let him hang around, and that crowd the tickets are going for like $30 a pop right now. So they're going to be a bunch of Saints fans that just walk in and say, "What do you have for me, New Orleans? Should I even care about you this year?" Don't give them a reason to care.
Right. Make them go get a po' boy at halftime.
Right.
From a local establishment. Don't mess around at the Superdome any longer. So look, we've got one more day of breaking it down here in AZ. We're going to be live tomorrow, Johnny. Same 4:30 time. I believe I'm going to be chatting with Ross Tucker tomorrow.
Nice.
See if we get that on the show, if we're going to have that in place on Friday as we travel. And then we're going to have a special show on Saturday on location in New Orleans. We've got our pregame, halftime, and postgame live from the Big Easy on Sunday. So it's a jam-packed week here on PHNX Cardinals. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those alerts set up on your phone here on YouTube, but and also follow along on your socials at PHNX_Cardinals. Follow Johnny at Johnny Venerable. Follow me, Bo Brock. Anything before we get out of here?
No, appreciate everybody. Appreciate our guy Baldy, and of course the return of Damon Dog. Guys, smell it. It's football season. Get keyed up right now. Go PHNX.com. Become a diehard. Again, be like Jimmy. Tag us on Twitter. We appreciate that. Scan the QR code. I promise you it's worth it, especially ahead of Friday. You'll get all the tomfoolery behind the scenes. You'll get up close and personal access with myself, with Noah and Bo as we travel to the Big Easy. Everything going on throughout the course of this weekend. You want to know what New Orleans is like? You want to see what week one is with Saints fans? Let's do it together if you're not coming with us from Bird Gang Travel. But again, become a diehard today. No doubt about it. And of course, any super chats going on during the month of September benefits our friends over at Big Brothers Big Sisters. Tap into that and help out a great cause along the way. Do not miss out on a way to give back with the Big Brothers Big Sisters month going down here at PHNX. Go to bebignow.org to help celebrate BBBS month. Big Brothers Big Sisters here on PHNX and the AllCITY Network. For Bo, yeah, go ahead, Bo. Take it down. For Johnny and Noah and Damon Dog. Yeah. He's back. I'm Bo, and then he's Johnny. It's PHNX Cardinals. Talk to you tomorrow. We all silly like the mayor.